Hello there and welcome into a brand new episode of The Drop Spot. It's great to have you here. It's me, Adam Savage, again in the hot seat, talking all things Fortnite competitive. And boy, oh boy, have we got a great show planned for you, recapping what was an immense global finals. It was incredible. We're going to break it all down for you. I obviously can't do this by myself. I need two of my esteemed colleagues on that main broadcast we had for globals. The question is, folks, are you ready for 11-2K? And Taco, welcome in to you both. It is. I had to go there. I just had to go there. Honestly, that moment, Levin, on the main stage, hyping everyone up. Game 11. We're about to see it all go down, mate. That was a special moment.
Hey, bro. I mean, your "Are you ready?" right there was so good. Maybe you should just do it next time, man. I don't know. You had me having feeling some chills right there. Jeez.
I am so B-list in comparison to what you did on that main stage. Honestly, mate, it was incredible. And Taco, I mean, as well, casting all the action, 12 games, global championships. I mean, what was the experience like for you? We heard your resounding, the vibes you brought to the arena. It was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard not to be as gassed as possible, especially after Levin's Game 12 intro. I mean, crushed it big dog as always, but Adam, you already know the vibes the entire weekend simply were just like unfathomably good. I mean that in the sense like from the audience, from the fans we got to meet, and just from like the interactions that we had with the players as well during some of the downtime. It was all just like such an awesome experience.
It really was. And for you guys, listening or watching right now, we got you covered. Obviously, we were lucky to be there, and those fans in Fort Worth were incredible. We're going to break it all down for you on this episode, what happened there. And we're going to talk about, obviously, Globals 2024. We're going to go about what's happening in the next year of competitive Fortnite. And, of course, the quiz is back, baby. We're going to do some quiz as well to kind of wrap things up here on our show. It's going to be really, really exciting. But I guess we dive into Globals and that experience. Obviously, firsthand, we were all there. We got to be there and feel that kind of energy in the room and see that, the champs, Peterbot and Poyo, raise up the trophy after a dominant display. I mean, it's been a year for them, Lev. There's just been back-to-back champs and then the globals. I mean, everyone expects them to do well, and they absolutely ran with it and they did incredible things.
I mean, we've never seen a year like it, quite frankly, in Fortnite. The domination they've had over the course of the year, it's something that will be remembered forever in Fortnite competitive history. I mean, two players who, their individual level alone just outshone everybody else in the world in every competition they played in. And you sort of led up to globals, Adam, and a lot of people sort of had the mentality of, okay, look, they have bossed it the last two majors. They bossed it even in major one, right? When they came second. It can't happen on the global stage, right? Land, the pressure there, surely this won't happen. They're contested, quote unquote, by, 3-4 other teams, right? Like this is it now. They're going to have a normal average performance. And then they just put on one of the best performances we have ever seen. I mean, it's an absolute joke how good these two are.
Yeah, I mean, Taco, Levin hits the nail on the head there as well with like the fact that we had those high expectations. There was that contested PI, the raft. It was a busy place to be landing, but somehow they still managed to capitalize on day one in particular. So dominant, we saw particularly toward the end of the day as well. And we all thought day two could be, it could go any which way. And to give you guys a bit of context as well, 987 points. Won 5 of 12 games, won them, as well as averaged almost 7 eliminations per game. That was one of the clean things as well. Taco, the eliminations were so strong. This is everyone's qualified for this, the biggest competition of the year, the kind of the finals, and they still dominated every region.
Yeah, I think one of the reigning stats that was gathered from the Global Championship weekend was Peterbot with the 52 individual eliminations, just on his own. And that's not even factoring in that, Poyo right up there with him. But the fact that the gap goes from like 52 to Poyo, I believe he had like 28 eliminations, I want to say, after everything was like done and dusted. But it just seems like these guys are really firing off on all cylinders. It doesn't look as though anybody really has a true means to trying to directly tackle contesting them. I mean, every single factor just seems to be accounted for every single time when Peterbot and Poyo are playing together. They have what looks to be some seemingly flawless synergy. And I mean, 11 kind of already summed it up as is, Adam, but I think all things considered, Peterbot and Poyo have set so many records throughout the course of Chapter 5, and I think just this year in general, it's exciting to understand the fact that it really seems like they are just getting started.
It's really interesting, right? Because I think after their Major 2 performance in NA, a lot of people sort of went, okay, this is the best FNCS performance ever. Like, you know, they broke all the records there were to break. The only record they didn't beat, right, was the whole 6 out of 12 wins, right, that Queasy and Venno had set last year. They came close getting 5 wins there. And when you look at a lot of the stats, you know, from this FNCS Globals, you could argue that this Globals performance was more dominant than their Major 2 one, right? So they genuinely put on one of the best performances on, you know, the biggest and most intense of stages. I mean, you know, you were bang on the money with the numbers there in terms of eliminations for them, right, Taco, right? You know, Peterbot and Poyo both 1 and 2, 52 and 28 respectively. 5 wins on LAN. It doesn't even make
it doesn't sound real to say.
It doesnn't sound real. That's the thing, and it unfortunately for the rest of the competition, it was just so real. Like it was too real almost. And although, you know, there was one team, you know, in Queasy and Thomas, who made it close at points.
So close.
You look at the overall competition, you just went, there is no team close to this, right? You know, it might look close in points, and maybe, you know, it's an entertaining tournament towards the back end and whatnot, but in terms of the level of play from those two and individual level, it's just not close.
I think that's one of the greatest things about this global championships as well, because obviously all year long the drop spot, you see we've been talking about different majors and the real key performers in different regions. The great thing about this particular global championships, I felt as well, was it was a great showcase of how top tier Fortnite competitive, like you know, in-person events has become, because you saw this amazing day two. We weren't really expecting it as well here. I mean, before we kind of move on to the team that kind of really challenged you, I want to talk about kind of Poyo for a second, and how, like, you know, Peterbot gets a lot of the praise, a lot of the fact that he, you know, and rightly so. There was a couple of clutch ups as well where, like, he's, I think it was a 1v1v1v, like a 1 versus, I think, 5 players solos, left in the lobby, and still manages to do it. I mean, Peterbot has, you know, rightly so, is kind of considered like the best there is right now. But Poyo as well, Taco, is a player that is, you know, cool, calm, and equally deserves a lot of accolades, because they've had a brilliant year together as a duo.
Yeah, I think also something that I can't help but draw like the comparison for, you think about like a team like Acorn and Cold, for example. Everybody's like, oh, Cold is so insane, Cold is this. It's like same case scenario here with Peterbot, where like everybody's just like, Peterbot, he's like the craziest player ever. Look at all these individual solo clutches. He's able to make it happen. But I do think Poyo provides a very strong synergistic balance to Peterbot's like gameplay. And I think what really helps the most is that if you ever watch like events where they're like winning and things like that, like Poyo and Peterbot, I think they both do the YouTube uploads pretty consistently from their events. But the main takeaway that I have, at least, is that they are very committed to the decision that is called as a duo. I think that it is very hard to sometimes have both players registering at the same exact time, trust the call 100%. But with those two, when you watch them play, it doesn't look like there is any form of hesitation or like questioning the other. It's just wholehearted trust. And I think that is also a really key element to a lot of their success.
I mean, Peterbot said it in one of the interviews he did with you, Adam, right? It was like very much, hey, Poyo, when I need him to IGL, he does it very well, and he'll make the calls, and he will lead us, you know, where we need to go. And naturally, Peterbot is gonna get, you know, the majority of the plaudits, because respectfully, there has never been a player this good, right? So of course everyone's gonna have his eyes on him. Like, the guy got 52 limbs, and like nobody else got anywhere near 40. So, you know, obviously he's gonna get the praise. But Poyo, number 2 in the limbs, 20 limbs, more than anybody else. He doesn't even get the best weapons in the team, right? Like, whenever obviously they land at the raft, right? They get that mythic burst. It goes straight to Peterbot. Anytime there's good loot, it's going straight to Peterbot. You know, Poyo's the one responsible of, you know, doing a lot more of like the dirty work in the duo, and yet he's still, you know, outstatting everyone else you can think of, right? It's like, the guy's a crazy player. I think a lot of people have to realize that Peterbot was successful right before playing with Poyo. Obviously, he was a one-time FNCS winner already, and he was considered a top player in NA. But playing with Poyo, that's what really brought this side of Peterbot out of him, right? Poyo, the trust they have with each other, the ability for Poyo to pick up the slack when needed. it's given Peterbot that freedom to play how he wants. And so Poyo definitely has to get a lot of praise, because even without Peterbot, right, the year he had last year in his sort of debut year in Fortnite comp was phenomenal as well, right? And he sort of just continued on that streak. So two fantastic players that deserve so much praise.
Yeah, I mean, we could talk about them all day. They are literally just out of this world, really. I mean, damage and the stats. I mean, people almost 19,000 damage. Bearing in mind that the kind of the lobby average was 6,600, so way surpassed that. They were incredible. But there was a team that pushed them all the way. I mean, we're talking to the last game here, and there was part of me. Obviously, I would say this being European, but you kind of felt in a way that Queasy, Thomas HD, second so many times. This could have been the first ever win, and it be on the global championship stage. And it all came down to that last game. I mean, they were day two where they played out of their minds, Taka. It was incredible to watch.
Yeah, easily my favorite part about that, aside from the fact that they just gave us such a close race to the finish, right? Peterbot and Poyo did not have a walk in the park by any means, transitioning from day one to day two. But Thomas and Queasy, we actually had a chance, and Levin, you were there too, but when we were walking by the players at the conclusion of day one, everybody's trying to do, their VOD review, standard replay work heading into day two. And Queasy was just like, I don't know, man, this is looking kind of dudded. Like when we asked him, like what's the takeaway? Like, how are you feeling? And I know in all honesty, like Queasy obviously doesn't mean that it's like actually dudded when he says that, right? Because he has such I think a strong mental when it comes to competitive Fortnite in general. And I think it's also just the fact that everybody always credits Queasy to being someone that can just cook up strats that other people will not have even necessarily been considering in the first place. And I think the fact that they were able to make it as close as it was in day two, especially considering the kind of drop that they're exiting from, because it's not like Peterbot and Poyo, where they're leaving with this like super OP reveal medallion and then also that mythic burst AR like Levin called. But I think coming out of Research Rock and still being one step ahead of the lobby, it felt like, when it came to a lot of their rotates for zones, that alone I think just indicates how well deserved the love was that Queasy and Thomas received, not just for their gameplay alone, but just like all around performance, man.
I think one of the keys when you're looking at Queasy and Thomas and putting their performance into context was just, when you look at the year they've had, there were a lot of people who didn't expect this team to be a contender to win. You look at the name value of these two, and absolutely, it's Queasy, it's Thomas, two of the most legendary players, two of the most accomplished players in our game. But again, the year hasn't been the smoothest for them, right? Major one, they come out strong and they get the second place, 1 point off first place, a bit heartbreaking there, right? Because it was, again, the continuation of that second story for Thomas. But, beyond that, like in between the sort of majors, it never really looked like Queasy and Thomas level, right? And they had some ups and downs. There was a lot of questions from people about how committed they were to the game and whether or not they'd be able to pick things up for globals. Even when we found out that the sort of jetpacks weren't going to be in the game anymore, right? For global championships, it was very much, okay, no mobility meta. Like Queasy and has historically not done the best in no mobility metas. He struggles in them a lot of the time. So there was a lot of question marks about these guys. But I think people who really are locked in and people who really know competitive Fortnite sort of had an inkling that these guys would still be able to do well. As much as Research Rock isn't the most flashiest of POIs, it's a great spot for a lot of different reasons. Being able to use a launch pad that's on the sort of mountain in between brawlers and the POI. Early surge is something that Queasy had figured out. He had a game plan. He had that locked in from early. So I think the game plan there made sense for them to do well. Even with that being said, Adam, to have pushed Peterbot and Poyo as far as they did, so impressive. Like, just on so many levels, so impressive. But I say all of that to still say it hurts. It hurts because I wanted to see him do it. I mean, for them to have beaten, the best team ever, Thomas to have finally gotten that first big win, Queasy to have redeemed himself from the Invitational in 2022, coming second place with Venno when it came down to the last game. Like, the storyline, everything was set up perfect for like just the most beautiful redemption story of all time, right? And it didn't quite pan out that way, sadly, for them. But they should still be so proud of themselves because they put on the best show I think we've ever had in Fortnite.
Yeah, I remember being there together. Obviously, the action's going on, and myself and Lev, I think it was Vivid and Zeke, kind of on the desk, kind of watching it together. And then when we saw in the elimination feed that Thomas and Queasy had gone down that last game, and we looked at each other and just embraced and went, almost perfect. Like, it was like almost perfect because it was so close. It was so close to that redemption story. But as well, I think all of us were kind of waiting as well to see. Obviously, we remember what happened back at Invitational in 2022 with the Cammy and Seti push from Queasy and Venno, thinking, okay, Queasy's been in this position before. Thomas HD, obviously, we know he's a calm, collected player. Would there ever be a world in which they were a fifth team, kind of descending on the raft or kind of like pushing them? Taco, was there any moment you thought this could happen again? Would they be willing to enforce this and take the game into their own hands here, or did you think it was going to happen? Did you not? Were you hoping it would happen? What did you think?
It's fun to entertain the notion of them dropping directly at the raft for Game 12, but realistically, I don't think that was ever in the playing cards for Queasy and Thomas. There's just too many uncertainties, I think, that were involved. The most specific one being that even if they did take down Peterbot Pollo, you get the early eliminations. Okay, cool. But now everybody else at the raft also sees that Peterbot and Pollo aren't there. So I don't think you see Yepko, Swizzy rotating Karen's Crossing trying to play bunker. I think you see them trying to directly attack, Queasy and Thomas for dropping last second there at the raft. Same case scenario for, I believe, Trashy Threats. I think that it's just so... it's just too volatile of a situation. I think Queasy is just, Thomas too, but they're just too smart of players to make that unnecessary of a risk. For me, it looked more so like they were trying to go for a slightly earlier rotate in that Game 12 event. I think it would have been sick if we had actually seen Thomas and Queasy go directly up against Peterbot and Pollo in Game 12, but obviously that kind of fizzled out because unfortunately there were just too many factors working against them as well in that game.
Yeah, it's a hard decision to make. I think everyone wanted to see it. It was fun seeing the sort of moment as well when he sort of baited everyone by like marking it and you saw everyone had picked up and was like, oh my god, he's actually going to do it. It's actually going to happen. And then you hear him say, when they played like the audio of him saying, I'm going to just do it to bait everyone. Like that is just, that is really, really Queasy stuff. I'll say that much. But yeah, it was always going to be a tough thing to happen, of course, like for the reasons Taco sort of highlighted. I think the main thing is it's always different. I think a lot of people go, yeah, but he did it at Invitational against Cammy and Seti. Peterbot and Pollo, on top of being just like the best players, they are some of the best off-spawn players, right? Yeah. Like you're not just like, as much as Cammy and Seti obviously went on to win that off-spawn battle, like historically Cammy and Seti are known for like not being the best off-spawn, right? Like it was a drop that, you know they're going to be the only ones there in that area. Like you 50-50 them, there's a chance for you there. Peterbot and Pollo, they ain't giving you a chance.
Nah,
like,
no way.
They're going to have the best drops. They're going to be ready for you because, Peterbot just seems to be ready for everything, right? So it was never going to be that simple, but...
Nah. No, I totally agree. I think, let's not forget, though, we've mentioned a couple of duos there. There are so many other ones. I'll ask you both quickly as well now. Just duos that kind of stuck out for you, teams that kind of were particularly of note who had an incredible weekend. Taco, kick us off here. Which players do you want to highlight for us who kind of like really is worth, kind of a shout out as well for having an unbelievable globals?
I definitely want to give a shout to Bryce and Bolts in that regard. I think that the fact that they delivered with yet another top 10 finals performance, on top of that, it being in a LAN setting, you're looking at global competition, the best of the best duos, literally from each region, and yet they still managed to kind of show up, do their thing. But what really stuck out for me was Bolts in one of the post-game interviews after they had their victory royale during globals. He went ahead and commended. He's like, I think that we are actually, two of some of the best players in the world. And for someone to have that much confidence and then also simultaneously be able to deliver, because I do think that the performances that Bryce and Bolts have been achieving throughout the course of this past year have really kind of led a little bit more towards that fact that these are definitely two players that we could continue to see staying not just in that top 10 of the leaderboard, but also, potentially even pushing further than that.
Also, stocks are so high now as well, in particular. Like, I spoke to a lot of like top NA players after the fact, when looking at 2025, a lot of them were like, I'd love to play with that guy. So it was great to see them perform well, and I think the future's very bright for the both of them.
Yeah, I think I absolutely agree. It was great to talk to them as well and actually chat to them afterwards, because we did have a run of Peter and Poyo doing a lot of winners interviews, and it was great to see them as well, because they've been doing brilliant things across the weekends, and good to hear from them. But also, Levin, other teams for you as well, that kind of ones that you kind of like watched and kind of thought they were really something special that weekend.
I think you got to show some love to Trulex and Chicho. Absolutely phenomenal. The pair of them all throughout the year. They've had sort of a big impact in how the game has been played, right? The patented Trulex bases have been a point of contention all throughout the year in conversations, and they were incredibly prevalent and successful during the Global Championships. I think back-to-back third places at the Global Championships, these last 2 years, Trulex has to be considered one of the best IGLs of all time. A lot of people, I think, forget he is an FNCS winner, right? He won FNCS way back in the day with Queasy and Juriki in trios, right? So he's an FNCS winner. He's got incredibly good land placements. He's so influential in how the game's been played in recent years. Like, this guy is one of the best to ever do it. And Chicho as well. Top Balkan fragger. I think everyone's looking at him and what he does in the future. I know he's, sort of been cooking up some things for 2025, but when we were looking at globals, Adam, a lot of the time we spent talking about how amazing Thomas was with the Monarch pistol, because he was going off with it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Chicho equally, if not more, actually was going off, because I think Chicho actually had the most damage with the Monarch pistol in the whole of the Global Championships. Again, just two sublime players. Really happy for them to see them do so well.
Yeah, really, it was incredible. And you know what? If you were there, I'm sure you felt every single second of it. If you're watching it at home, it was unbelievable. Global Championships 2024 was something to remember for the record books, memories, unforgettable scenes, and definitely sets up what is going to be an unreal 2025. Can't wait to see what happens next. Right, we must push this show along to the next thing, which we're all looking forward to, which is our quiz.
Hey.
I get so excited about this. I get so excited. I can't wait to see who's going to come out on top. Taco, I mean, feeling confident. I mean, it's only 11. I mean, come on.
The last time though that I went into a quiz off against Levin, I overthought like almost every single question and then fumbled the freest W of my life. So, this time I'm gonna keep it humble. I'm gonna just say, may the best quizzer win, Levin.
Yeah, you're going to need the luck.
Levin's he's got it all. There's no pressure at all here. But if you guys don't know, the quiz here on the Drop Spot is really fun. Play along with us, please, at home. It's all about you ask our guests a couple of questions each, multiple choice questions, at the end of which, if we've got ourselves a tie, we do a tiebreaker question, which is the closest answer to the answer is the winner ultimately. But I'm sure we'll do that anyway. So this week, we're going to kick off with Taco. You're going to be our first question.
Nice.
Okay. Right. This is the first question for you, Taco. And let's see what happens here. Right. Question 1. How many players have placed top 10 in all 3 FNCS lands? How many players have placed top 10 in all 3 FNCS lands? Is it 0? Is it 1? Or is it 2?
I mean, because I know Peterbot Pollo's a given, but I'm gonna go with 2.
Okay, with 2. Levin, what's your answer?
It's a tough one. I'm trying to remember back to Invitational and what that leaderboard looked like. I can't remember. I'm gonna go 1 in. Actually, I'd go 0. I think.
Oh.
I think
you're going 0.
I was thinking Trulex, because obviously he did top 10 with the last 2 years, but I'm trying to remember if he did top 10. But I think he would have played Invitational with Chicho, so then it would be 2. So it's either 0 or 2 if they did it, but I can't remember if they have. So
okay. So on my answers, by the way, and I have these answers. I've got these clued in here. My answer here that I have is 1. Okay, so 1 is the answer. And I have the answer I have, it says Queasy and Venno were close with 11th as their worst placement.
Oh.
Right. Last year, Queasy and Venno came 11th.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so sadly, not the correct answer, Taco, but we move. Okay?
Yes.
We move.
Do you know who the one is?
Who actually is the one?
I don't have that in front of me. And I think that's something that I should have done. Darn it! Okay, fine. Hey, we'll figure it for next time, man. But still, you going that with a 0 point. However, 11, question for you here is to take the advantage. All right, we're getting to question 2. Question 1 for 11. Right. Which of these players did not get the same placement as they did at Globals 2023? Which of these players did not get the same placement as they did at Globals 2023? Was it Chicho, Reet, or Venno?
Ooh, that's an easy one.
An easy one. You made it sound like it wasn't. Okay, what are you vibing? What's your things? What's your thing?
I'm saying that's an easy one because I just talked about how Trueless and Chicho got the same placement they did last year.
Mm-hmm.
And Venno, being my good friend, couldn't wait to tell me after the Global Championships how he got 11th again.
Okay.
Which, by process of elimination, leaves my good buddy, Kelly's favorite player in the world, Reet.
Taco, anything to? Would you agree? Would you question? Would you change your answer? Or it sounds pretty.
I would agree with Levin's.
Okay.
Process of deduction.
You would be correct. It is Reet indeed here. Any guesses as to what placements do you think the last 2 years? Just top of your head. Any guesses?
And I know Reet came 12th this year, but I don't know where he came last year. I can't remember.
So last year, so Reet did come 12th this year. If it comes down to not being a tiebreaker, I'm going to enforce it, Taco, because that was kind of like he knew the answer anyway. All right, question 2 for Taco. Here we go. Which of these dealt more damage during Globals? Which of these dealt more damage during Globals? The Storm or Storm Surge?
Man.
That's a good
The one thing I wonder, though, is how close or how far is it? The Storm or Storm Surge?
I honestly don't even know what I'd say for this.
I feel like I'm just gonna go with the Storm versus Storm Surge. I feel like we saw teams spending a lot of time in Storm.
We definitely did.
It's tough though. It's tough. I'm gonna commit though. I'm gonna commit to Storm.
Okay. Taco locking in Storm. Would you have changed your answer, 11, or stuck with that?
I would have gone Storm as well.
Okay. I can confirm that one of them caused 41,525 damage.
Jeez.
And the other one caused 196,354 damage.
It's got to be Storm. It's got to be Storm.
Correct answer is Storm. It was Storm. It was Storm.
You just think about all the scenarios in an endgame where people are just taking like 10 ticks
tanking,
and stuff.
Right?
You know what I mean?
Like,
it's like,
exactly. But yeah, 196k for Storm. That is nuts.
I was not expecting that much of a difference between the two, though.
Massive discrepancy there, 150k or so. Right, okay. So it's 1-1. 11, you got one question left here, bud. This is your question. Question 2. Which of these dealt more damage during Global? Same question, but different potential choices. Fall damage or the Hyper SMG?
Oh,
yeah. Good question.
That's a devious one.
That's a fun
devious.
one.
Yeah.
Just
question.
because, so like, again, I'm trying to be logical and smart here. If I'm wrong, I'm just gonna look like such an idiot for trying to like talk my way into this answer. But if you think about it, only time people are using the Hyper SMG is like early game if you have no other option, even an off-spawn fight.
Fair.
You know, and there were a decent amount of off-spawn fights, but like generally, people shouldn't have been carrying that Hyper SMG. So there's a lot more instances where I feel like you're gonna get got by some 4 damage. So I'm just gonna say 4 damage.
Locking it in.
I'm gonna lock it in. I'm gonna lock it in.
Taco, would you agree with fall damage, or would you have lent towards some SMG?
I'm gonna agree with the fall damage exclusively because I feel like I remember one of these drop spots in the past was a question involving fall damage in a similar,
Yeah,
I remember if it was for invitational or not or
Yeah.
something like that. But like the number was just like so much higher than what I expected it to be, and I just feel like hyper SMG damage is not gonna. I just feel like it has to be fall damage, but I might be,
Okay.
dudded.
Okay. Well. Let me tell you this. One of them caused 2,133 damage, and the other one caused 4,244 damage. The correct answer that dealt more damage was indeed fall damage. It was fall damage more than the hyper SMG. I mean, great work, 2-1 there. However, being friends with Venno, I got to cancel that at 1 point. So we're going to a tiebreaker.
No, I won. We're not cancelling out the point.
Nah,
Because he told me where he plays.
Did you
Like,
though?
what?
I think he won
I
by
knew.
default.
Wait. Isn't the whole point of the quiz knowing?
Yeah,
And I
fine,
knew.
fine.
Like, what? Like,
Look, Levin. Okay, right. Like Taco, we'll say that Levin won, but you and I know really is.
I won.
Okay,
No, actually,
yeah,
I do think Levin won.
Yeah, Levin won. Level one. But we're going to do the tie. Look, I've got to give the fans what they want to see. They want to see a
Okay, that's
tiebreaker.
fine.
Levin won.
That's fine.
We'll do the tiebreaker anyway. Okay, both of you just shut up for a second. Okay, right, here we go. So, jeez. Okay, tiebreaker question. Here we go. Right, here's the tiebreaker question.
This is gonna be so
Right.
silly.
Remember, you guys play at home as well. Whoever gets the closest to the answer wins. But still 11-1. Right. How many kilometers did the average player run during Globals? How many kilometers did the average player run during Globals? And the answer is somewhere between 1 kilometer and 70 kilometers. I'll give
Are
you
you
that.
saying like average total, like out of?
Yeah. How
No,
many
no.
kilometers
Games?
did the
What-
average player run during Globals? Actually spend running
What
around
per
the map.
game?
No, overall, the entirety of the
So
thing.
all 12.
So
And the
all
answer's
12
between
games.
1 and 70.
1 and 70 kilometers. Remember, this is how many kilometers is the average player? So the average player, what was the
Okay.
kind of like the average, give or take, that they
I'm
ran during the
gonna-
entirety? So some might have gone to end game, some might not have done, and this and that.
Kilometer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you like me to explain what a kilometer is?
Yeah, bro, I'm lost right now. Bro.
Like-
I'm trying to,
it's between 1 and 70.
in game.
Yeah.
In-game
So you're running.
kilometers.
So you're running across the map. So consider running across the entirety of the map. Yeah.
I've never.
Every-
How long is the map?
How long is the entire map? Is the
Yeah,
question.
how long is
I
the
don't
entire
know.
Yeah,
you
mate,
should
well, Mr.
know.
Quizmaster, Mr.
You're the
Quizmaster, you
expert.
should be telling me, mate.
Look. Well, we have to start this whole episode again. This is mad. Okay, right, no. Okay, just take a stab.
Okay, no, you know what, Taco, you go first.
All right.
Yeah, go on. Yeah,
I'm
go on,
gonna lock in 31.
Okay. Remember, it's between one. Okay, do you know what? Yeah, we'll keep it between 1 and 70. 31 is the answer. Taco's given. Brilliant. Okay, 11.
I'm
what about you?
locking.
I'm gonna go. I don't know. I'm trying to like scale like what.
I don't know how many
yeah, do you know what I
kilometers
mean?
the
Like I
whole
don't.
map
Like I'm
is,
so
so-
lost. Like
It's just like,
50.
Okay.
I don't know.
hey man, you
like,
don't know
I'm,
how many
like, lost,
kilometers
yeah.
the map
50,
is? Are you
50.
sure
Wait,
analysis is your career choice?
I mean,
Did
clearly
you-
not, mate.
Right. So 11, you're locking in 50.
Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
And what was yours? 31. Taco.
31 for me, yeah.
One of you is 3 kilometers off.
Oh
That
my
is it.
goodness.
The correct
tough,
answer,
Taco.
averaging around 4 kilometers per game. The correct answer is 47 kilometers. 11.
Oh, wow.
You were 3 away. That's really.
47.
I need to research how many
Yeah,
kilometers are in the game. That's mad.
That's crazy.
Our
One,
Yeah.
average
that's
is
just-
4 kilometers per game of running around. Bear in mind, the
I
map is one size. But if you're running around and
Yeah.
this and that, I mean, yeah, exactly. Like it's a lot. It's a lot. But 11, congratulations, buddy. The winner of the
Honestly,
drop spot quiz today.
that was my best quiz performance.
It was solid. You seem so
That was a
confident.
solid quiz performance, no?
Yeah, I was
Like,
praised. That was top. That was
I mean,
top of the.
you did go 3 for 3. So
Yeah.
Yeah, you did. Yeah,
Yeah.
you did.
Yeah.
Rarity.
I sort of went into this week's quiz. I was like, usually before the quiz, I get a bit nervous and panicky, and I'm always stressed, and Adam's always like, see, 11 hates this part of the show. But like this week, I was like, I'm just going to
I
stay
didn't say
calm.
this week.
Yeah, I know, because this week I was like, I'm going to stay calm.
I
I'm going
like
to
it.
just take the questions as they come.
You did good. You did good. You did good. If you guys playing at home as well, hope you did well there. And did you know how many kilometers there were on a map on average? We didn't, but maybe you did. But that's our quiz for this week. Now, I want to talk a bit about what is to come as well in 2025. You may have seen at Globals. I'm sure you did. It's gone stratospheric. There was an announcement at the end of Globals from our wonderful friend Zeke here. Let's take another look at that quickly.
Man, I can't even believe it. We just wrapped up 2024. Just an amazing year of Fortnite. I was kind of curious though. What's the plan for 2025? Oh, $8 million in prize pool. That's actually really awesome. The players are gonna be really excited to hear that. Wait, I'm sorry, step back. Did you say trios? We're going back to trios? Yeah. Did you say Siphon?
Can we all agree there's never been a better way to round out a global championships? Zeke there, absolutely perfection there, and suggesting what is coming our way next year. We'll talk about all these things. Firstly, $8 million prize pool for FNCS 2025. 2024 had just under 8 million. Again, Taco, some incredible prize money to be won next year in compared to Fortnite. Very, very excited for the players and all of us fans watching online as well.
Yeah, I mean, the moment that you hear 8 million for the total prize pool throughout 2025, everybody's kind of just rubbing their hands together, and the scheming that has unfolded already, Adam. It's been a blast, honestly, watching some of like the trio scrims, for example, that have really started to kick off, I guess, so to say. And I think it's just going to be very exciting to see what we end up with.
It really is. I mean, Levin, money aside, which is wonderful stuff. Taco touched on that as well. We've got ourselves trios. Trios is coming our way in 2025. Ooh.
I'm so excited.
It's the first time since the end of 2021 that we're moving away from duos. So it's been 3 years in the waiting, almost 4 come 2025. What are the main differences? The difference between a duo with 2 players, a trio with 3, that you can envisage, foresee coming our way in 2025 because of the additional player that players will have in their team, Levin?
I think the most interesting thing straight away is just like the difference in team dynamics, right? Like just adding that extra player just means that like you can have a lot more fun in terms of like roles, what types of players you want to get involved in your team, right? I think when you look at team fighting, right, it becomes a lot more complex. The dynamics between, we have one person playing up close on walls, one person, 2 other people trying to pinch one player. Like, there's just so much cool things that, happen in Fortnite when you add that extra player in. So I'm very excited for that. When I first got involved in the competitive Fortnite broadcasting space, it was trios, right? So like for me, it feels like I'm, going back to the beginning for me. So I'm really excited to have trios back.
Yeah, Taco, are you? I mean, let's talk about kind of like speculative rumors about potential trios that we could see competing together as well here, because I mean, online has just been exploding with just kind of these potential kind of like theories and players, whether they be kind of like, suggesting it's going to happen or kind of hinting or just playing, with fans at home. Put this out there. Peterbot, Poyo, and Cold. Can you imagine this, Taco? Can you imagine this trio and the dominance? I just can't even get my head around how that could be. That could be unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily. We might not have to imagine it. We might actually get to witness it in real time, Adam, for 2025. I think a lot of people are kind of speculating that Peterbot, Polio, Cold might be one of the most likely trios to stick. But then again, you never know, because I think Levin touched on a very important category, and that is just going to be, with the addition of an extra player, it does change a lot of the vibe aspect. And I do think that oftentimes when it comes to competitive play, having the best synergy possible, you don't necessarily have to be the strongest individual performers, but if you can make sure that you combine, the best of your skill sets together, and you have like the number one chemistry, number one synergy, 2025 could look very promising, I think, for a lot of these teams. But I think also it's kind of funny to think about. You're probably going to see this is like the all-time era right now for spreading misinformation. I feel like, because it is so easy to just make up a trio. And you're just like, whoa, Tfue coming back, really? And it's just like somebody out there is gonna believe it, and then, but you never know. What if he actually does, right?
Sounds like you're spreading misinformation now, yeah.
Yeah, what do you know, Taco? I mean,
No.
this is the. I mean, Levin. I mean, other potential trios that you think could be a thing. Speculative again, like you think rumors. What would you love to see?
I mean, I've been keeping my ears to the streets. I've been hearing all the talking.
Yes.
I've been, paying attention to the scrims that have been going on and the underground conversations, and I'm hearing things, Adam. I am hearing things.
I bet you are on the grapevine. I bet you are.
The problem is,
I bet you've got wall charts and everything.
I do.
I know you do.
But there's one problem, Adam. It's like Taco said, there is so much time until we have, these big trio competitions that nothing's really locked in. So there's a lot of people who are definitely trying, right? So like, for example, I think one of the ones in EU that people should be very excited about that's been rumbling around is Vico, Flixie, and Chap. Like, that sounds insane, right? But again, are they really gonna lock in and confirm? I can't say for sure, but that would be a team I'm super excited about. There's just a lot of players now that I think become really interesting. So like, for example, Veno is back in EU now. He's no longer playing with Clix and NA. So like, who does Veno slot in with in EU, right? Is he gonna do this whole Queasy reunion? Who not? Like, there's so many interesting things there to play with. An underrated one that I don't see people talking too much about that I think is very important. Who are Mongrel and Savage going to play with? That's where I'm locked in. Who are those guys going to play? Are we going to call Mitro? Are we hitting Mitro up? Like, yo, Mitro, man, it's the time. You got to come back to the game.
Time.
I mean, there's options there. There's options. So, it's really exciting time to like theory craft with teams and see what people are doing. But like Taco said, a lot of misinformation spreading. We won't know until, that first.
We all
trio
know Clix is
FNCS.
joining Savage and Mongrel after all.
Ooh, she knows something. She knows.
Well, I think you make a really good point about dynamic as well in like teams. Like obviously we've seen over the course of the last 4 years of duos, we've had loads of flip flopping of teams, kind of new ones joining. At this point, you've had years worth of getting to kind of like get a feel, a lot of players of like a vibe amongst others, and kind of knowing, okay, that was a good fit, that wasn't. So we'll come trios when it is actually kind of a thing and it's announced. I can't wait to see kind of like who's going to get together and who's going to kind of step up really, because it's kind of like it's a brand new, fresh opportunity to kind of see what players can bring in a different form, which is really exciting. Can't wait for it. Can't wait to see what the hype is, and we're going to hear loads more about it over the coming months here. Another thing as well that was touched on we saw there at the end of Globals as well was Siphon as well coming back, the Siphon Trials, which is, we don't know anything about this right now. It's coming soon. We're looking forward to hearing more about it, but however, speculatively as well, what are we thinking this could be? What would you like to see personally? I mean, Taka, what would you like to see in what shape or form?
The fact that it's Siphon Trials, it could be a lot of fun. See how experimental they get. I am a big fan of the classics, though. I feel like
the classics.
Siphon goes. It goes pretty crazy. I know Levin's probably not too thrilled at my response, but I'm gonna leave him to be the creative one.
No, I'm not thrilled because you're copying my whole gimmick here. I'm the OG guy.
Yeah, but I said mine first, so technically you're following me bar for bar at this point.
You actually copied me. We talked about this beforehand. Either way, I will say, of course, naturally, I am a fan of how Siphon once was, right? So I'd love to see that be cooked up. But if I was cooking something up, I feel like it'd be fun to maybe experiment with some like. Maybe like less on shields, more on some white HP, so that when we're seeing people clutching and storm and getting those limbs like towards the back end of games, that could be fun. Even maybe just getting a bit gimmicky with it. Maybe we like give people like buffs and stuff. Like how some of the medallions have like cool effects. Maybe you like get a medallion effect.
So like more E limbs, you get more Siphon. Maybe
maybe it's like
get crazy.
If you had if you got on a limb with a medallion, you get like a buff of that medallion for like I don't know. You can get crazy with it, is what I'm saying.
Like,
and I hope they do, get crazy with it in the Siphon trials and whatever we get to see. So,
that's the great thing. As you said, creative. We don't know what it is, what it's going to look like, but we're looking forward to seeing how it's going to take form soon. I mean, that's the great thing. It's all kind of having fun and seeing what is coming our way. And we'll learn loads as we go down, as we will. Trios that are going to form, what's going to happen competitively in the calendar next year. We can't wait to hear loads more. For you guys, it's been an amazing kind of like year of Fortnite competitive. Globals was incredible. We have to say goodbye. I mean, Levin, where can we find you online in case anyone hasn't seen your Are You Ready monologue? Where can we find you and it?
11-2K on all platforms, TikTok, X, Twitch. I've been streaming again a bit more recently, so there's a good chance I'm gonna be live a lot more lately. So yeah, be sure to check me out.
And Taka, how about yourself?
Best Taco on all socials, and not only that, but 11. Don't worry. I think we will all be asking ourselves, "Are you ready?" until 2025 is upon us.
We're all so ready. We're so ready. Thank you guys for listening and watching wherever you are around the world. We look forward to seeing you real soon in the Battle Bus. Till then, take care and goodbye for now.
Head up in my face, don't space, put it up, I don't fade. I ain't missing no shot, cause I'm always in.